Well, good morning. Is it afternoon? It's afternoon where you are, right, Christy?
It definitely is afternoon.
Well, good morning, DCL Patreon or DCL podcast fans. It's myself, Steve, and Christy joining you for another live Coffee at the Cove episode.
Hello.
We have not done this for a while. Hey, did I tell you? Okay, so when they revamped the Cove, they said, we're going to turn this into a coffee shop. And how often do you go to a coffee shop and people are doing business, right? They're like on their computer, they're talking to people, maybe they're meeting with people and everything like that. When we were on our New Orleans cruise, I got up in the morning and I went down there and it was kind of cool. So I actually sat in the cove. Usually I sit outside so you can see the water and everything like that. And there was like two people from Disney having kind of a business meeting, and they were like sitting next to me. I was kind of listening to them. I was like, wow, this really is like a coffee shop. So they succeeded in turning it into like your neighborhood coffee shop.
That's like your dream, isn't it?
It is. And so we are meeting.
Wait.
Okay.
What did those business people discuss?
Oh, it was like talent. It was like, like talent contracts as far as.
Good.
Yeah.
Got to eavesdrop. You need to put your listening ears on.
As far as what was coming up, maybe, and what they were going to be part of and that type of stuff. So it's kind of interesting to listen to that. So I digress. We are excited because guess who left this morning?
The Disney Wish.
She is on her way on her conveyance down the River Ems towards the North Sea to do her sea trials. And then eventually she'll be making her way to the Netherlands first to pick up some crew members.
Yeah. Well, and to do the work.
Right.
To get the ship ready.
Yeah. So she was supposed to leave Tuesday night. The water was a little bit low, I guess, in the river. So she wasn't able to leave Tuesday night. And so she left early this morning. There's a bunch of pictures on our Facebook page if you want to go over and check out that. Also, Scott Sanders over at the DCL blog, DCL Cruise blog, has got a lot of videos up, and he's kind of posting things as well. So kind of cool to be able to see the Wish on her way.
It's so exciting.
And not only that, our booking window for our July cruise for the Disney Wish opened just recently, didn't it, Chrissy?
It did. We booked. I didn't book. I was fast asleep, but you booked, Dave booked.
It was super funny because our staterooms are linked, and then Chris is coming with us, and like and Katie and a bunch of other people are going to be on this sailing just kind of randomly. Well, not randomly. We sort of planned it, but it was funny to see, like, I pulled it up.
Don't tell our secrets.
I know. Normally I pull it up and you can just see your stuff, and I could see like all these people and like things are booking and they're popping up into the windows like, oh, somebody's going to do this. Somebody's going to do that. So it was kind of fun to see, but I thought we'd kind of take some time to kind of go over and talk about what was available. Most of it is similar to what's on the other ships. There are a couple of differences, and talk about some of the things that we booked and what we saw. So Christy, why don't we start off with concierge? You want me to do the numbers breakdown?
Yes. Let's be clear. I am not in concierge. I booked nothing as concierge for this cruise. So, because people are going to be like, ooh, I did have a concierge cruise booked, but that one got canceled. So what are we going to do?
Yeah. So before we even talk about that, as a concierge, somebody sailing concierge, how does that process work for them as far as being able to book onboard things and maybe get a cabana?
Yeah. So it's all very competitive. Facebook, honestly, is helpful, but it's made it worse because some people knew about some things. And then now that everybody knows, there's just much less opportunities to book a cabana, which is what most people are trying to book. Like that's, I think, the number one item of the hard to get item that somebody wants who is booking a concierge cabin on Disney Cruise Line. So with concierge, you get to book your items in advance. And typically you don't book them in advance. You send your request to concierge in advance of the cruise, in advance of even the platinum booking window. And their computer system is set up to instantly like book these items as soon as the booking window opens. So it used to be 125 days. We as platinum book at 120 days before the cruise. And it used to be that at 125 days, you sent an email at midnight, which is where the Facebook groups became a problem because everybody knows that now. And everybody's watching the clock to make sure they get theirs in at midnight and get those concierge requests in. And there you request if you want your Olaf picnic, which we'll talk about in a minute, when the cruise lines are back to doing that character breakfast or the meet and greets that have tickets, you would book those at that time. You would request your concierge or your cabana, which you request the exact cabana number you want even, and they'll try to make it happen. And here's how I know how much more competitive this was. I've cruised concierge maybe 4 or 5 times. One of many of our cruises, you would just be like, oh, I would like a cabana. Here's the number I'd want. And it's easy. They give it to you. There's no issues whatsoever. My last one, we actually had an email problem and our request didn't go through. And they actually ended up looking at screenshots of pictures by the time we called in the morning. But the bottom line was we got like our third cabana request. And the only reason we even got it is because they accepted the picture of the email that we sent that never made it to them going through, because by 8 a.m., all the cabanas were already requested by people. So they were already taken. So you're going to give us the concierge numbers in just a second. But the point of this is to say that if you really want a cabana, you just have to know that there's no guarantee to get it anymore, even in concierge. I mean, there never was, but now it's worse than ever because there's just too many.
You're probably not gonna be able to answer this question, but so one of the people sailing with us too, their mom is in concierge and they did not get a cabana on this, or she did not get a cabana on the sailing. Do you have any idea as far as the breakdown, as far as like, I would assume if you're in the most expensive concierge suite, you might get what you want, but
technically like, they are not supposed to have priority.
That's
but
what
I'm assuming that they have priority.
Yeah. I mean, if you're spending the amount of money that some people are spending, like I would, and I get it if you're like in the lower concierge and you're like, well, we spent some money too. So anyway.
And you spend more than any regular balcony cabin, even if you're then if they're going to do it that way, then I think they need to open it up. But what I will say for that person who missed their opportunity, what will happen is if anybody cancels their cabana, concierge will pull it back and give it to the people on their list.
Okay.
And so also they often save a cabana for people getting married to have an opportunity to book. And so sometimes there's a cabana held back for the weddings. And when they're not being used, they can put it back in rotation. And I believe the first cabana is a handicap accessible cabana. And so sometimes that one gets held back in order to see if somebody needs a handicap accessible cabin, and they'll get that cabana. So I messed up in my talking there, but you understood what I was saying. So it's possible that somebody who didn't get what they wanted it. But Steve, tell us why it is likely, why it's probable at this point, especially on the Disney Wish, if you are cruising and want a cabana, why you're not going to get one.
Okay, before I do that, pro tip, Christy brought it out there just to you right now. If you want a better chance to get a cabana, just get married on the ship.
Bam! You could do a vow renewal, and frankly, they're only like the weddings start at under or around $4,000. It's not even that expensive. Do it. Oh, Steve, you and Wake should do this and invite us.
We should, should we? Okay.
One more thing really quick. So it used to be that you wrote in your email at the 125 days. Right now they're doing 130 days. So really just talk to your travel agent to find out when you're supposed to do something so that they can help you guide you to make sure you're not missing a mark.
Okay, so as the breakdown on the Wish, and I want to give a huge shout out to Liz, who's listening to us right now. She's the one that came up with this question and actually did the research on it. But there are roughly 76 concierge cabins on the Disney Wish versus 42 on the Dream. And we couldn't get an exact number because I was kind of doing this last minute, but I think somewhere between 28 and 30 on the Wonder and the Magic. So that kind of gives you your competition. And Christy, how many cabanas are there?
I told you you're supposed to write them down. There are 21. I believe there are 21 on the Family Beach. And then there are, we think now 6 on Serenity Bay. So there were originally 4. It looks like they added 2 more. It looks like at some point they're going to add 2 more even still. But math is not my favorite subject. But even with my simple math, I know that means 27 total cabanas. And so that is not enough if there's 76 concierge cabins. That's a lot.
That is a lot. And okay, so we don't want to dwell too much more on the concierge part of it, but we thought we'd put that out there just because I know there's a lot of people. Well, some people were unable to get what they wanted. And I thought that was kind of interesting to see the breakdown on the numbers. So when your booking window opens, Christy, what time does it open?
Midnight Eastern time.
So midnight Eastern. So it's a little bit easier for us West Coast people. It's 9 o'clock at
Wah,
night.
wah.
I know we like literally just got back an hour before from our San Diego trip. Got home, grabbed some food, jumped on the computer, and started booking. And I did not look at it at midnight. I looked at it, or excuse me, by 9 o'clock, so that midnight time. After we booked our stuff, I went back and looked at it, and all the cabanas were gone by 12:05. So I'm not sure if there were even any available.
There wouldn't have been. And if somebody in concierge didn't get one, there wouldn't have been because they put their request in already. They had put it in days before.
Okay. Well, let's start with some of the onboard fun. Now, there's a lot of the similar things that are available on the Disney Wish that are available on the other ships, but I thought we'd start with what you and Blake and I think Seth are going to go experience something new, which is coming to the Wish.
Yes, except the Seth is really a Chris. Steve just
Okay.
got it confused, or Dave picked the wrong one. But
Gotcha.
really quick, before we even do that, I want to tell people where to go. So when you go to do your online check-in, you're going to have, and for the people that are able to look at the screen, you're going to have this is the stuff you need to know for your cruise. And I think my cabin number was just on there, so don't look at that. If you scroll down, and somebody was asking about this because this page isn't on there, a client is asking me like right this minute, but I don't see how you book. Well, it shows up. Now I want to cover up my cabin number. The booking options show up once it's your booking window. So it's not going to show up until you're allowed to book. So until that midnight time opens up for you, whenever your booking window is. And remember that depending on how many cruises you've been on and what Castaway Club, which is their frequent cruiser program, whatever level you are, is when you're going to book. So it starts at 120 days and it goes down to 60 days before your cruise. So depending on your level, that's when you're going to book activities. To that point, one more little point. People are like, oh, it's my first time cruise. I'm going to miss out on the fun. First of all, you can totally book not one extra thing and have yourself an amazing cruise. And most of us, that's what we did in the beginning. Now we have cruised a bunch, so it's fun for us to experience something new, but the ship is new. So if we're talking specifically about what's available on the Wish right now, this is all new. Whether you're a first-time cruiser or a 50th time cruiser, just being there and doing the stuff that's included is amazing. And I would not be concerned about not being able to book one of the extra activities.
Before you say that, that's a really good point, because we booked Palo on our very first cruise with my parents, but that's the only thing we booked until probably about the fourth cruise when we finally did a mixology. So
and I didn't do Palo until way into my cruising.
Yeah.
Like it isn't something that I felt like I had to do. I mean, I have steakhouses here. I have food that's included on the cruise. So I was okay with not booking extras. Now I like to have those little plussed up experiences, but it doesn't make or break your trip.
Definitely. I thought that was a really good point that you made, because don't get caught into the weeds, which I know a lot of us Disney fans do. So, oh, I got to get onto Moonlight Magic or whatever it is you're going to do, and I didn't get it or whatever else, because there's so much fun to be had on board the ship without booking the little extras. Okay, but let's talk about some of the extras that you can book. And we'll start with the onboard fun, and you guys are going to something new. Why don't you talk about what you guys are going to do?
We are going to Olaf's Royal Picnic. So this is occurring for sure on the sea day. I have to look. I'm not sure if it's available another time. And it's in the afternoon. So it's a picnic that's at like 3:00 or 4:00.
It's like a brunch, a late brunch.
It's like a dinner, right?
Dinner, yeah, you're right.
I don't even understand the time of this, but whatever. Who cares, right?
Yeah.
The pricing is, this event is definitely replacing that royal lunch that used to occur, that royal tea. I get it wrong every time. That occurred on the Disney ships, that it is still occurring on the Disney ships. So it's got the same pricing, which is $220 for children aged 3 to 12. And you have to have a child aged 3 to 12 to do this activity, is my understanding. So I could be wrong about it, but you have to have an activity. And I believe you can bring 2 guests with you per child. So I booked Blake. I'm doing this for research, you guys. Research. Also, I very much want to see what's included in this picnic. But I get a little bit of a heart palpitation paying $220 to go to a picnic that's at 3:00. And then, like, what meal is that? So, and then it's $70 per person aged 13 and up. So it's not an inexpensive picnic. And as of right now, Chris wants to go because he wants to experience it. So he's very sad too that his son. Okay, I just messed that up, and we can't go back in time.
No,
but his child is 13 and cannot attend the royal picnic themselves. Okay, so it says delight in the magical summer picnic designed for guests aged 3 to 12, featuring Olaf, Anna, Elsa, Kristoff from the beloved Disney movie Frozen. So, I'm so in love. It's a whole thing. It's going to be it's going to be in the Frozen restaurant. There's a whole bunch involved. They talk about how they can handle dining allergies. I mean, this goes, you guys, like there's a lot of information, including that if you don't cancel your picnic more than 3 days or up to 3 days before, you will pay for it anyway. But like that royalty, there's a whole bunch of stuff included. So you get a headwear, you get Olaf headwear. What does that involve? Do you think it's like little pokey Olaf thing?
Snowman ears.
Right. You get a cinch bag, you get a troll plush, a water bottle, activity book, picnic blanket. I am so excited about that. And a troll necklace. And then the thing that I really think they need to reconsider is they're giving every child who attends this picnic a mandolin.
And thank goodness we're on the opposite side of the ship from you on this one.
You really are, actually.
I know, as Blake is playing his mandolin throughout the rest of the cruise.
Exactly. It won't be good. He will not play well, but they are going to teach us how to play a song on it. That's one of the things included.
So I have to say this real quick. They do that at Alani where you can get down and learn how to play the ukulele. And it was super fun. It's a plus up experience you get to pay a little bit extra for, but we had a blast doing it. And I think if they do it the same way, you guys are going to have a lot of fun playing that mandolin.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. And this is one of the things that Disney is so cute on. When they're talking about their description of this lunch, they even said, as Olaf would say, all good things. Like the little phrase, all good things. Like that is something that to me, I get excited about because Disney has the Imagineers are putting the thought into this event. I can't wait to see what's involved. So anyway, you can spend as much as a cruise and go to a picnic with your family. One of the other things that, Steve, you would not have booked for your family is a Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique appointment. You'll have to look online because in the booking, I did look for this specifically this morning. It says prices start at $99.95 and it doesn't let you, and you have to be under 12 again. So 3 to 12. It doesn't let you like pick what you would get at the Bibbidi Bobbidi boutique. So like I could make an appointment time for Blake. And I know from looking online, he could have been a pirate or a Captain Mickey, but I don't know, what would be involved in the pricing for that. So you get to see it. You get to see that it starts at $100 and we don't really know what's included for that. So, because they're all like, everything else is subject to change and, additional pricing.
So that's something you would get once you get to your appointment?
I guess.
Unless you want to stop earlier.
We're going to do a mini-sode because one of our listeners actually did Bibbidi Bobbidi recently with their daughter. And so we're going to have her on. She can explain it because we aren't Bibbidi Bobbidi people. So we don't know.
No. Other onboard fun is all the different tastings that they have available. Beer tasting, wine tasting. Oh, go ahead.
With new pricing, right? Somebody else pointed out everything like the champagne tasting that you just recently did was like $40. I seem to remember paying like $35 or $38 for it. And now we're signed up and it's $50.
Yeah. And it's still $40 on the other ship. So
do we get $10 worth of champagne that's better? Like, is there going to be one extra glass of champagne or perhaps a heavier pour? We'll have to report back to see.
We will. I do love that champagne thing. So even though it was a little $10 extra, but I think just across the board, all of these tastings are a little bit more expensive than what are on the other ships, and the other ships' prices have not changed because I went back and looked at that. So this is a reflection of the new ship and being able to maybe charge that premium. But hopefully, like you said, maybe they'll have a different one because they've usually used the same champagnes from ship to ship. So maybe they'll have a little bit different one on board. They did have one different one. So they have gin, they've got the chocolate and liqueur, they've got wine, beer tasting, and champagne. And then they have like a older aged bourbon or whiskey one, that was like $100 each. So kind of a higher end whiskey tasting, which they do not have on the other ships. But we will definitely report back on the champagne tasting when we go to that. And I'm curious to see where they're going to have it at.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, better not be the Star Wars lounge. That's all I have to say.
The champagne tasting will be down.
Yeah. Somebody else probably would go, no, we want it there. But
Yeah. No, ours, it'll probably be in the Marvel. Maybe it'll be in the Marvel restaurant too.
Steven.
My guess is it'll be in. Do they have Meridian? I can't even remember now. They haven't announced the bar that's going to be back
There
by.
is a bar in between it. I don't
Yeah.
think it was called Meridian,
Okay.
but there is a bar.
All right, I'll let you look at that. The other thing that you can book on board too is the unlimited photo packages ahead of time. Make sure that if you want photo packages, book these ahead of time before you get on the ship because the price does go up.
But to that point, you can. Sorry, I moved this thing so I'm dark. You can book a photo package. I'm in the dark, and you can decide on board whether you want to keep it. So book it if you're considering it, and if you don't get enough pictures, you can get a refund.
So sample pricing, package of 10 is $149.95, package of 15 is $199.95, and if you get unlimited, it's pre-cruise $194.95. Once you're on board, $229.95. So kind of
yeah. Oh, because it was $150. Yeah, so it's about $50 more than the 15 picture package, and you get it all. So I would probably consider that. You can get group photos if you're combined to a room next to you. So like grandma can sign up, or whoever wants to have all the family pictures. But in any picture that somebody from the original room is in, they can get. But like if Steve and I are linked, I can't get his pictures. So if his family posed for a picture and I got the photo package with my family, we could get that picture, but we can't, he can't get his own family in my cabin's picture, if that makes sense.
Yep. We're going to skip over to these really quick. The other things you can book once your window comes open is port adventures. That's specific by the port that you go to, and there was nothing different on Castaway Cay as to what has been there before, other than the fact that things slowly keep coming back. They keep adding things on Castaway Cay that they hadn't had earlier. We booked the... Go
ahead. We'll come back to the bar in a second.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
we booked the parasailing. So hopefully we're going to get some video of the Disney Wish if that goes. Of course, a lot of times that cancels. But regardless, go ahead.
Lake is going, and he is as long as it goes. And he's the one who, let's be honest, Steve and I are not making great videos of anything.
No.
So just so the you out there that know that Steve and I aren't making great videos, Lake will be there and he the video, and we'll make that work.
Yeah, Lake and Katie over at Mouse Gen, make sure you go over there and check out their YouTube channel and like it, because they've got a lot of really good content with Disney Cruise Line. The other thing that you can usually book is the nursery. Right now that is closed, and there was no availability of booking in the nursery right now.
Yeah, but do we know that is for sure 100% the case? I assume it is, but for people with babies, because we don't have babies, we don't know.
I'm just saying right now, you
it is closed.
You weren't able to book it. It may open by then.
Yeah.
So
I tried tapping it and nothing happened.
Okay,
go on.
Go ahead, you do that, and then we'll go to dining next.
Okay, so back to probably where this bar is going to be, or where the wine tastings might be, is there is a bar called The Rose, which is off to the side. So it's not in between like it is on the Fantasy and the Dream where Meridian is, but probably it looks like a martini bar. Probably that would be where the tastings would be. Maybe, probably. Maybe.
Yeah. So that would be a good place to have it. But we will report back on that. Okay, should we move to adult dining?
Yes, I had it open and it just closed. So
okay,
that's fun.
We'll take a look at the C Day, because that's probably a popular time for people to look at it. We'll go over the pricing. We're not going to go down to the breakdown of what is included with each one of the ones, just the experiences that are available to book. How's that?
Perfect.
Okay, do you want to start? On me too.
You need to start because mine is not up.
Okay, we'll start with Palo, which is, once again, they have Palo dinner available at different times, and then also the Palo Steakhouse brunch. And it's called Palo Steakhouse now on board the Wish. So it's the Palo Steakhouse brunch and also the Palo Steakhouse dinner. Do
you think that brunch will actually have a nice piece of steak now, since they're calling it? Because the current piece of steak, while flavored very nicely, is a thin piece of sirloin that tastes like a thin piece of sirloin. They need to fix that, Disney.
I would hope so. Get rid of that chicken parm. It's a steakhouse now, right?
Steven, this is the second time I've had to say your full name.
I'm
It's
just
not
kidding.
Subway, and we are not getting rid of the chicken parm.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys can dislike the channel immediately now after my tired jokes. All right, so
Outbursts.
the brunch is sold out. That sold out pretty quickly. It will run you 90 minutes, it says, and $45 for ages 18 and up. And then the steakhouse dinner, I'm just going to pull it up just for the fun of it as we're talking. Once again, it's $45. And remember, we just talked about this recently. That $45 covers the prefix menu
for dinner.
For dinner. So that is what is going to cover your price. Now, if you
and it
go
does not cover your gratuities anymore either.
Right.
For dinner, it covers your gratuities for brunch, but not for dinner.
Okay. If you go off that and you go to the a la carte menu, you could potentially end up spending more than the $45. Plus, it does not recover, or it does not include any alcoholic drinks and stuff like that. So it looks like since we already booked it, I can't look at the availability. But there's still dinners available as of now at the Palace Steakhouse dinner. So just know that brunch is probably going to sell out pretty quickly, especially on that C day.
And brunch was available when the platinum individuals could book during the Nassau day, which is what some of us are doing. Even though some of us broke our promises to go to brunch.
Some of us have to keep our kids happy and take them diving. So, Christy, you want to take us into the Enchante experiences?
Enchante. So I opened it up on the Nassau day because I wanted to see if it was different. So is there an Enchante brunch offered or anything? Okay, so you read that actually.
Okay, so Enchante is the new premium restaurant on board the Disney Wish. So it's taking the place of Remy. From my understanding, it is basically a French themed restaurant as well. I guess we'll cover it at some point. And we've talked about it previously, but I guess we got a couple minutes here to jump into it, just to give you kind of an idea of what Enchante is. For elegant sophistication aboard the Disney Wish, welcome to Enchante by Chef Arnaud. I'm going to kill his name. Lament.
Something with an L.
Inspired by Lumiere from the Disney film Beauty and the Beast, taste French-inspired dishes crafted by 3 Michelin-starred Chef Arnaud at the adult-exclusive restaurant. So you were going to have a brunch experience, which that one is right now on the C day has been sold out. So both of the brunches sold out, and you've got 2 other different experiences as well that you can book.
What does the brunch cost?
The brunch costs $75 for a 75-minute brunch, 18 and up again.
Okay, I have a cruise in September on the Wish that I am going to try to actually get that for. Okay. So I can report back after that. Dinner is $125 or a la carte. Same concept as it was probably at Remy. So, and that is available, I believe, at least the internal nights of the cruise. I'm not sure if it's available the first and the last night of the cruise.
And that costs?
Oh, $125.
$125 and up probably if you use
and up because yes. And wine pairings. Ooh, and wine pairings. Could you imagine? I will be doing a wine pairing with it one day.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, I think we just blow it all out if and when we finally do that. Also, there is one other experience that you can book as well, Christy. Do you have that one? The Enchante dessert experience.
I do not.
Okay, so that one is an hour experience, 60-minute experience. It costs $60. Once again, 18 and up. And
$1 a minute.
$1 a minute, yes. Enjoy a 5-course dessert menu, coffee, and an in-depth discussion with the executive chef and executive pastry chef of Enchante. As each dessert is presented, they'll explain the history and evolution of the dessert. Reservations are required. Talks about cancellation. Once again, Enchante is a little bit higher end dress code versus Palo. Dress, pants, and shirt are required for men. A jacket is optional for the dessert.
For the daytime activities, but for nighttime, it is required.
Right. Women, a dress or pantsuit is required. No jeans, shorts, capri pants, sandals, flip-flops, tennis shoes, or spirit jerseys.
No sandals even. They even threw in the word sandals.
They did.
And capri pants. That's very specific.
That is very specific. You've been trying to sneak in with your capri pants too many times, Christy. They kicked you out.
I have definitely done that for Palo brunch and Palo before.
All right. Those are some of the things that were available to book on the adult dining. Anything else?
Even for brunch at Remy, it also states no capri.
Oh, we lost you.
I hit the mute button. Even at brunch, it talks about the capri pants at Enchante. Now we have to go back and look at Palo. Does it talk about capri pants at Palo? I don't think so. Let's look. Now I'm going to look because
all right,
I
I'll let you
am
look.
stuck on this capri pants business.
All right, and this is scintillating live
People,
talk as I'm trying to log back into the website.
Jeans can be worn, and it does not discuss capri pants.
Okay, so you've got capri pants, go to Palo.
And jeans, if they don't have holes in them, even fancy jeans with holes are not acceptable. And they don't talk about sandals, so that's better.
Or go to Arendelle, and you can eat there with your capri pants.
No flip flops. So no flip flops, no tennis shoes, but you can wear sandals to Palo. You cannot wear sandals to Enchante.
All right. So if you're going to book this, most people that are going to be booking this are well aware of it being at a very exclusive restaurant and well worth the cost from what people, well, we don't know about Enchante, but as far as people that have spent time in Remy and everything else, that definitely. And as we were just talking here, so I just pulled up our Nassau day. So brunch is available at Palo, like you said, but not at Enchante. So the Enchante brunch was only on the C day.
Because it's new too.
Right.
Oh, it's available as like you can see, not that it's sold out, but
yeah, it's not. You couldn't even book it on the Nassau day. So C days, obviously, they're gonna have everything going on. Port days, they may not have as many things available, and the dessert is not available that day either from Enchante. Okay, let's move into. We're not going to spend a ton of time on the spa and fitness. There were a couple different things added to the spa experiences from what Anawake said when she looked at it. Most of the stuff is still similar, where you have your massages, your manicures, your pedicures, and all the different types of things that you can do in the gym as well, with different types of training, yoga in the morning. All those things are available. There was one thing that was different, and it was some kind of, none of us know what it is.
But it was some kind of, what was the word? We said it before we did this.
I know, and I'm like totally drawing a blank.
Now I'm drawing a blank too.
Yeah, it was
gravity, zero gravity. It's a zero gravity something.
Yeah. For what was funny was it's $4.99 for one person or $4.99 for two.
So two people should participate.
So go for the two and the zero gravity thing. Also,
it's a float on air experience. This is what it says. Private use of the zero gravity suite. There's a suite. Oh, personal whirlpool and shower. Float on air immersion experience. Choose from one of our as you wish services. Something happens with stone, like hot stone, but while you're floating on air. I think you get a massage floating on air.
There you go. Well, Brian and Sam from the DCL Duo booked it for their Wish Cruise, so you'll have to maybe go over there and listen to his take on it once they get back from there. You know, go ahead.
Okay. It's a unique spa treatment featuring their signature 5D bed, programmed for different lying positions, which makes you feel like you're in zero gravity. I don't know if I'd like that.
I don't know. Wake thought she might get sick on it.
This is what my concern is.
All right. So that's just kind of an overview of some of the things that we saw booking. Your experiences may vary based on the cruise. I think we can both agree on this, Christy, that this first year, if you want to add on additional things, it's going to be tough on certain cruises to be able to get it initially. And it'll probably be like another year before things maybe slow down with so many people going. And I don't even want to say a year, because who knows how long it's going to take with all the people that want to go on the Wish and right. experiences. But
you should, if you can't book a thing you want, you should, when you get on board, double check, ask where the wait list are being held. They're either usually at guest services or like the shore excursion desk. Right now, the shore excursion desk is being used for nursery time. So I don't think that that's where they're also going to do a wait list. But by the summer, we don't really know what the process is going to be. So, and I don't know if I said nursery, but I meant kids club. But so ask when you get on board so that you can find out where to add yourself, and wait lists come through. I've had, and I think I've talked about this, some cruises this past year that have been booked very late, wasn't able to get brunch, wanted brunch, and got a phone call during the cruise. And I was pretty far down the list, and I still got a phone call that there was brunch available.
Yeah, good tips there. I know, like, especially with the spa, for some reason, you don't get something in the spa, getting there, and as soon as you get on the ship, head up there, and they do have I know that they do have times that they don't
They
have
definitely.
available to pre-book. They
Mhm.
hold some back so that you should probably be able to find something depending upon what you've got planned for that cruise. They probably have like some spot for you to get in on some of the maybe less. I shouldn't. I'm babbling here, but go to the spa, check it out. Same with dining as well. Go
They're
up to
going to try to
Palo
get you in.
Enchanté. Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, our last cruise, Wake went up there because she was checking on something. I can't remember what it was, and they were like, "Well, we can take you right now." It's just she texted me. She's like, Should I do a massage right now?" I was like, "Yeah, go for it. Why not?" But she didn't do it.
No.
So definitely, those are good tips there. Any other tips for people booking that we haven't talked about, Christy, as far as booking onboard experiences?
You have to be paid in full. So like for in our case, our final payment isn't for another month or two or something, but you have to have your cruise entirely paid for before you can book when your booking window opens. So just another point to keep in mind.
So, kind of a recap of what we talked about today. We talked about the booking availability window when it opens. We talked about the concierge breakdown on the Wish, which is much higher, many more concierge captains.
Many.
Yeah, on the Wish versus the other two classes of ships. I talked about some of the onboard fun, the new Olaf's picnic, which is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, almost time for dinner. You get done with that, and then you go straight down to dinner.
Apparently, especially us first dining old people.
Old people, I know. We talked about dining with the new Enchanté restaurant coming in on the sea days. There's the possibility of brunch, both at Enchanté and Palo, and also the dessert experience as well with Enchanté. I would expect that you might see some different things like that come back, like Frank from who's been on our show several times. He did the cook like a chef down in Palo, so maybe watch for those. I would not be surprised if things like that pop up as
For sure.
yeah, as things probably maybe not right away. They want to kind of get things settled and figure it out a little bit, but as the cruises kind of go along. And then we talked about the spa and fitness. We really enjoy the spa. Onawake loves the spa. I know you like it as well too, Christy. So check out the spa activities as well. But before we get out of here, one of the things that I know that we like to talk about is helping out small businesses. So if you are not working with a travel agent and all this seems a little daunting to you and everything else, maybe working with a travel agent is the best thing for you to do. It helps out a small business. And plus, with a Disney qualified agent, they are going to be able to help you navigate through some of these different challenges as if this is one of your first times cruising. If you don't have a travel agent and would like to use Christy's services, Christy, how can they find you?
You can find me all over the social media and then at my website, specifically at Pack Your Pixie Dust. So it has my contact information, a phone number, email address, so you can reach out. There's no additional charge to use my services. And if you are not working with an agent already, I would be happy to assist you and help you get started. There have been people that will sometimes say, "Oh, I booked a cruise because I wanted this onboard credit or I wanted such and such. So I booked with this company." And then maybe they didn't get the answers they wanted, or they didn't have a phone number they could call to ask questions, or they sat on hold with Costco for 8 hours one day. Literally, this happened to a client of mine. And then they said, "No, I need somebody that I can get a hold with, that I don't have to be on hold while they're on hold." So I am able to help with those individuals as well. And Liz, one of my clients, has actually said that she's been working with me and is awesome and absolutely recommend. So thank you very much, Liz.
Definitely on all of that. Matter of fact, Chad, who we just cruised with, had booked through Costco and had a hard time getting a hold of them, and is looking to try and find. And no shade on Costco if that works for you and that works for your pricing and everything else. You're more than welcome to. I don't want to discourage anybody from going to Costco or anything like that, but there's some advantages of being able to actually reach out and talk to somebody personally and develop a relationship like your clients had with you, Christy. One last final thing before we end up here. Our YouTube channel is minor. We're not doing YouTube to put up. I'm not going to be one of those vloggers, I guess, or anything like that. It just doesn't interest me at all. But we try and put stuff up on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube and you enjoy it, we sure would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button or at least give it a thumbs up and whatnot.
And subscribe. Hit subscribe. It's okay. You can ask them for that, Steve. You can. I promise you.
It's free.
It's included.
It's free. It's included. Like the ice cream up on deck 9. But we want to give a huge shout out to our Patreon supporters as well. We have a Patreon program. It's a great little community, a lot of talk back and forth on Facebook. That's where most of the chatter is at. If you're not on Facebook, I'm sorry, but that's where most of the chatter is. A lot of people give a lot of different, people can come there and ask questions. It's very supportive. A lot of answers.
They ask port adventure questions.
Yeah. So we put some extra content on that for each and every week as we can, as it comes up to all those Patreon supporters that help bring this show to you ad free each and every week with our regular podcast shows. I want a huge shout out to them. But if you're interested, you can go to patreon.com/DCL podcast and find out all the information there. And I think that's about it. Christy, any final thoughts about the Disney Wish bookings on board as we get out of here at the Cove today?
It's pretty exciting. So I think the final thoughts are, we're so excited that we are 17 days away or something from being on board this brand new ship. And actually, I'll be on board. We haven't publicly talked about this, but assuming everything goes well and they are doing their pre-inaugural cruises, I have been invited on board. I've already received a save the date. So I will be on one of those first cruises, and I will definitely be posting content. It will be amazing. So we will get out as much as we can ahead of time too. And we're so excited. So let us know too what it is you want to see during even the pre-cruise or this cruise that we're taking together as a podcast.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm going to hold you to it to at least do a Facebook Live for at least 5 minutes while you're up on that top deck when you first get on the Disney Wish before everybody else. It's going to be kind of cool to be able to see her. So
sure. Happy.
Yeah, excited about that. All right. As we get out of here, thank you so much for all of you who spent some time watching this morning with us this afternoon. I hope for those of you who didn't, you enjoy it, and all the best to you as your cruises come out, whether you're sailing on the Disney Wish, the Disney Fantasy Dream, Magic, or Wonder. It's cool to say that so many different ships now that the Disney Cruise Line has. All the best to you as you're booking those onboard activities as well, whatever your sailing may be. So thanks again for coming back to take a listen, and we'll see you next time on the DCL podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.